Welcome to the Pulse of Purpose live stream. I am your host, Shane Kipper, and this is Ian Guthrie.
Hello.
Today we're going to be talking about tapping into grace during the eclipse season. I'm sure a lot of you have been feeling the powers of the two different eclipses that we had in October alone. I know for myself, I've been really feeling it, kind of going through it, the different transformations, the comings to an end, setting of new intentions. It's just been a very powerful month. And if it's been for you, leave a comment below, with what your experience has been so far. But I'm gonna let Ian kind of talk about what the definition of this live stream is, and we'll kind of move right into it.
Yeah, so I know for myself personally, these last couple of weeks have been very revealing of things that I've holding on to, hurts, shames, resentments, insecurities. All these things have been kind of bubbling up to the surface, and it's easy to let the old thought pattern, tear ourselves down. But we really want to focus on giving ourselves that grace, that self-love that we so desperately need at this time to help, integrate and give ourselves some self-love when for me at least, that I've noticed that I haven't really been doing that as well as I could have been doing. How about you?
Yeah, I feel like that is definitely something that I've been lacking in this process is self-love. It's been a very critical time in my life, judging every aspect of the choices that I'm making, the actions that I'm taking, just my way of being. I feel like, and it's not necessarily a bad thing either. I'm not necessarily saying judgment isn't necessarily the greatest way of going about it. However, it's giving me a little bit of perspective and a different perspective on different angles of my life that I've been repressing and not addressing, and kind of shoving underneath the rug, if you will. And so all of this is really starting to come to the surface all at once, which is pretty rough sometimes. But it's just trying to find that difference in, am I judging myself, or can I take that judgment and turn it into self-love? And that's what I'm really working on right now, is not allowing it to be like my source of value, because I tie that my value is very tied to judgment, what people think of me, what my family thinks of me, what what you think of me in this community, right? And so it's just trying to navigate that and change the script and allow it to be good.
Yeah. And I know for me, it's really the same thing. Like where I've been placing my value, I really realized, personal story would be that I do a lot of people pleasing, and so I'll end up dropping the things to take care of myself to then take care of other people or to help them out. And so then it's almost like my value is better helping somebody else and letting myself become last. But at the same time, that's not really serving me, nor is it actually really helping the other person, because I'm letting myself go empty basically and become worn down and tired, which then builds up resentment towards, you know, it's like the realization that I had recently was that like I wasn't really having my back. Like, and it's great that I know that there are people out there that have my back. But then I was just like, I'm not really taking care of myself and taking, having my own back in this period of time, and like realizing that I really need to step in, and if I'm able to facilitate helping somebody else, I should be able to facilitate helping myself. And I don't want to say should, but I'm not going to should on myself. But I could be, I could be taking better responsibility of my life. And more recently, I have gotten some resources, some help from friends, because we have a beautiful community with a lot of resources to help you heal and grow and become your most best self. And I've really been able to tap into that recently and get some help that I needed. When I think that, especially being on a spiritual path, like kind of take on the load, like, oh, I can handle it, I don't need help, I'm already healed, or something like that, where it's just like, we work together, we're all one, and it's really through our abilities that true healing comes through. And I've been able to sit with people, and when people say, hey, how's it going, or whatever, typically I'll be like, oh, it's good, and then like inside I'm all torn up because like I don't really want to talk about all the things that are going on, and like a victim consciousness, and I'm just pushing it away, that I have these perceived problems. And now it's just like, you know, a quote that I heard was, if you want to clean a house, you have to recognize the dirt. And so I was just sweeping all this dirt under a rug, and now it's come up to really be healed and let myself look at myself and forgive myself um, for feeling these shames. And as a friend told me, that shame is believing that you're a bad person, and she said, you are not a bad person. And so that was really heartfelt. That was Sheila who said that to me, and I really appreciate her um, helping with me some things. And Shane, of course, here has always got my back, and of course now I'm working on getting my own back too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I can relate with the not having my own back thing. It's kind of like this always giving state, and it's not even giving from a full cup kind of thing. I'm constantly chasing my tail. And in fact, recently, I've been aware of certain addictions that I've had in my life, but I've never really let them go completely. I went sober for a couple years for drinking, and then just recently had some wine. And then, there's been a couple other things that have dominated, if you will, my life a little bit. And so I've just really gotten clear on how much that's taking from me. And so I've recently given up chewing and drinking energy drinks, and drinking again. And so I think that's, a part of this eclipse, right, is coming to an end. It's letting go of certain things, closing doors on things that no longer serve us. And that's only one aspect. I I definitely struggle, and he had already mentioned it with as like a healer, we can mask what's really going on. I do the same thing when people are asking me how I'm doing. It's like, oh yeah, it's great, it's awesome. But inside, there's just a lot of turmoil that I feel like I have to deal with on my own. But especially within this last month, and I feel like may pertain a little bit to the eclipse, is getting vulnerable and asking for help and reaching out to different people, and being honest with where I'm at. And the first thing that I might want to do is give my opinion of certain situations, but it's the authenticity is really like the analyzation of myself. Like, here's where I'm coming from, this is the feelings that I'm having. How can I work through this and heal this. Because what's happening is a lot of different cycles are playing out. And if we don't get to that core and really close the doors and stand up for our worth and our truth and, what's our intuition, what it's telling us and showing us in our reality, right? Where what we are experiencing in our reality is a reflection of what's going on internally. And so if we can notice those outward expressions and, really come from actually a loving place, and do the work on those things to heal those things, we won't play out those cycles again. And so that's something that's happening in my life, at a large, rate, I guess, all at once, for me to look at the situations, all the different aspects of that. And for me, it's been lacking clarity. Lacking clarity on what I want for the different business ventures I want, or am pursuing. Lack of clarity in my intimate relationship, and lack of clarity in just a lot of different areas. And so that lack of clarity is preventing there from being cohesive communication in certain areas. And that's my pattern. That's the cycle that I'm playing. It's like I just go do things. I was talking to Chelsea last night, and she was talking about how I'm a manifesting generator. And so as a manifesting generator, it's like I got this big idea, let's fucking go get it. And so without that clarity, I'm just going for it and just like figuring out as I go. And I'm trying to bring people along with me without clarity. And I've done that multiple times. It's like they can't see the vision like I can, and I haven't expressed it the way that it needs to be expressed in order for us all to go in that same direction and thrive. And then without that clarity, it creates resentment. It's like, oh, why didn't you do that? There's expectations that I didn't tell you about, or there's, just like no communication whatsoever. And so that's really what I'm healing in this eclipse season, is the the lacking in clarity in myself of who I am, where I'm going, and my ability to communicate that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing with the clarity too for me, and it's definitely been a process, like over the past couple of weeks, just recognizing different things, and then like I'll find myself kind of beating myself up about it, and then having that realization that I'm just resisting it more by not giving love to it, which is not giving love to myself. I actually did a beautiful meditation last night about um, recognizing the love I have for somebody else, and then like turning that love towards myself, like, because the love that you feel for somebody else is your own love. And it's like you should be able to, I don't want to say should, you can focus that towards yourself and fill yourself up with the love that you believe that you have for somebody else, because it is your love that you're feeling, that you're expressing, and to really turn that back inwards, and look at these uncomfortable parts of ourselves and really do that internal work that's with these eclipses has shifted and stirred up and brought to the surface, to be shown. I mean, it's a really beautiful experience what we've just gone through, and I don't know if for the rest of you guys, but it's it's all aspects. It's like spiritual, mental, physical. Like I had like a 3-day migraine until the full moon eclipse hit. And I was like, I just felt like I was dizzy and spinny and nauseous, and my head was just pounding. And I was like, but I had to like give myself that grace. And because part of it was also that, it's like I couldn't help in that space. And so it was like making me have to take care of myself and be like, you're not going to be as in any help to anybody when you're in this state. So you should take care of yourself. And it's like, I had to get to that point where it's like, I can't give anymore, so that I have to give to myself. And that's not a pattern I want to continue. I want to be able to take breaks for myself and really fill up what I need so that I can best serve my community from a space of an overflowing love.
Hmm. Well, now that the eclipse is over, I mean, I still feel the effects. I think, everything has happened really in perfect timing. Just some of the prompts that I've been trying to go deep on, the meditations, the timing of everything has really matched up with the powers of this time. And so I think it's important for us to, take a moment to consider what it was that happened, at least within this last month, and even the last year leading up to this month. Taking a moment to journal that out. You don't have to make it this long process, but bullet point a few things that, maybe have come to a closure. And then, really feeling the gratitude for those things because it's all led us to this point for a reason. This healing, for in my case, is here at this time so that I can deal with it. I can heal it and move on and move forward with a lot more grace and ease. So it's something for us to really be grateful for. And at least for me, it's like, it's been challenging. It's been very consuming. But at the same time, it's allowing me to elevate. If we look back maybe to the full moon or the first moon, I'm not really, tapped into the moons and the cycles and stuff yet. But it was setting the intention. And so analyzing what was the intention that was set at that time and how is that playing out now. It may not look exactly how we wanted it to play out. But in my case, I'm getting exactly what I asked for. Um, but it's just shown up differently. So I'm grateful for that. So my question is, like, what's outside of maybe that, are there things that we can do to, um, you know, work through the transformations that have happened with this eclipse season?
Well, I mean, everything starts with awareness. And so for me, um, really, and it's also, Michael Singer talks about this, how you recognize there's tension or conflict within yourself when anything comes up, basically. So, say, um, we were coming for a meeting or whatever, and I feel this like constriction or whatever, and just allowing yourself to relax into it, because it's really the constriction where you're like holding off love to yourself. And so, like, maybe there's something uncomfortable happening, but it's like you can relax into that moment and give yourself love. Like, okay, I'm feeling anxiety, or I'm feeling um, uncomfortable with what's transpiring here or whatever. And then really looking into where is that coming from. Like, we think that it's something in front of us, like, um and it could come from childhood traumas, like seeing your parents arguing or whatever. When you see conflict outside of yourself, we take it on within ourselves as if like it belongs to us, or we created it. Well, I mean, in a way, but but like, what is that? Why is this conflict playing out, and why is it disrupting my peace? And giving yourself love for that, because another aspect would be judging ourselves for like not being at peace in this moment. But it's just like, it's okay to not be okay, and giving ourselves that grace to go through the uncomfortable feelings, to really unearth what it is that's actually bothering us in this moment. We And not project it onto this other person or other situation. It may just be a realization that you're not in alignment with whatever it is that's happening. Like, you might be on a diet that's really not in alignment with you, because you've been told that you have to look a certain way, or you have to eat a certain way. And it's like, you know it's unearthing these guilts that we have towards ourselves that cause this. It's an addiction to guilt, really. because we believe that we deserve it. We deserve that guilt. And so really looking at that and letting it go, that this guilt doesn't serve me. I'm not, this isn't even who I really am. And we've been playing these characters basically. And so it's coming back to the true divinity of who we are. Who do I want to be in this moment? I want to be loving. I want to be graceful. I want to be at peace. These things already belong to me. And really settling into that feeling, like, what would it be like to feel peace and love for myself in this moment, and really hold yourself, because we have to do that for ourselves. And as long as we're looking for that outside, we're creating a codependence to another person, another thing, an addiction towards substances, anything that we feel like is giving us that peace of mind, that peace of God, is really keeping it from us when it's really ours already. And so just loving yourself, accepting that, telling yourself that I'm not going to feel guilty for this. So like, if it is you want a candy bar or something and you're on a diet, like really taking away the guilt from it takes away the need for actually wanting the thing. And so it's just a beautiful process of really doing that deep internal self-love, gratitude towards self. And the fact that we want to be better and do better is an act of self-love of itself. And sometimes we need to really recognize that we want, the fact that we want to do better or be better in any moment is an act of self-love, and to take away that judgment that we're not where we feel we need to be, because we are always where we're supposed to be in any given moment.
That's powerful. Yeah, like someone said down here, it doesn't show the name. You have to like agree to the privacy terms, but it's all good. Addiction to guilt, that one hits sharply. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's like feeding off of that guilt. It doesn't seem like that would be the thing. Like I'm not addicted to guilt.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't know, it's like a pattern. It's like falling into a rut. And I think if you really relate it to any other addiction, it's like it's providing a certain level of feeling that's um, pleasurable. It may not actually be that way, but at a certain level, it is giving you something that you feel like you need. Um, yeah, and one thing that Chelsea was talking about was like, or we kind of came up together, was taking a look at each of the different areas of our life that we want to heal, right? And that could be, or improve ourselves in. That might be like, for example, my relationship intimately, my relationship with the community, my relationship with the business venture that we're doing with Sacred ROI, and all these different other aspects. At least in my case, this is what I need to do for myself, is look at all these different aspects that are going on. I feel pretty spread thin. There's all these different things going on that don't necessarily have the clarity, and so I'm feeling the guilt of not having that clarity. And so, like, what are those areas? Segment those out and take. Almost lost you. Taking time to like meditate on that area. So it might be the Cosmic Pulse community. I need to get clarity on that, and then meditate on that clarity, right? And then every other aspect. Taking your time. I think there's a part of me that wants to rush it. I'm like, I need to get the marketing business profitable, Cosmic Pulse, all these things that aren't in alignment. Because of my lack of clarity, I need them to happen right now. And so just that thought of it needing to happen right now is overwhelming. It's like, I don't have time for that. Like, how am I even going to make this happen? And so if we can kind of distance ourselves from it needing to be a specific way or be perfect or happen within a certain time frame, then it can actually open the space for there to be clarity. I think when we're trying to force the clarity, in my example, with what I'm trying to heal, is if we're trying to force that clarity, we're coming from that ego state of mind, and so we're not actually getting maybe the answers. We're getting one side of the story, when if it's more of an open ease and flow, then that can channel spirit or your guides or God, or however you want to, whatever comes through you to give you the answers that you need. So giving, and that's kind of the topic of this live stream, is having grace during this eclipse. So give yourself some time to heal, right? There may have some clearings during this eclipse season that have been super powerful, but there's a residual effect of that. There's things that are going to start playing out in our lives as a result of the actions that we did or did not take during this time. But we still have time. It's not like, because it's the eclipse season, end of the eclipse season, we can't, still, have some closure on things, and still take those actions, because the energy is still present. And it's just always present. There's never a better time to do it than now. But give yourself some grace and have some patience in that process, because I know for myself, that's where a lot of the guilt comes from too. It's like, I'm not moving fast enough. I'm not showing up enough for the people that I've committed to. And then that even also is resulting in me diving more into addiction. It's an easy outlet for me to grab onto when I'm feeling those guilty feelings.
Yeah, and I totally get that feeling like you're just constantly doing. Like, a quote that I heard the other day was, this guy wakes up and I feel it really resonated with me, was like waking up and feeling like you're like you're being chased by a bear. Like you just have to get up and get going and do all these things. And I heard a great quote the other day was, because we need rest, and a lot of times we feel guilty for resting, and it's just like, listen to your body, listen to what, if you're mentally, physically, emotionally tired, like take some rest time, because rest is a right, not a reward. And in this video that I watched, it was saying how at an early age, we were programmed with oh, when you finish your homework, you can go play, or when you do this, you can go play video games or whatever. And so it became this like activity of a thing that you needed to do, and then you could relax or have fun. But as an adult, that list of things is infinite that we need to get done. And so taking the time to really like allow yourself to rest and not think about all the things that you need to get done, because all the things will get done, and they'll get done in a more timely manner if we give ourselves that rest. And because there's been this transitional energy happening, and in a way it's almost like a death and rebirth. It's like, we go to bed, like an old part of us dies and we get reborn, refreshed. It's just like a cycle. Just allowing yourself, giving yourself that grace of like, this is what I need. All the things that I need to get done will get done. I'm going to take this time for myself, and I'm going to rest, because I think a lot of us are just burning ourselves out, and it's not serving ourselves. It's not serving our community, because then we're showing up kind of already burnt out, like we're we're fraying at the ends. And so I that it's a good time to get that rest. Reach out to the community members. I myself do massage and energy healing, and we have many in our community. Reach out and get some self-care, like really sink into it, allow yourself to receive it, because you deserve it. We all deserve it. We deserve to feel loved. We are loved. We are lovable. To feel that peace.
Man, that's powerful. I'm going to go through a couple of these comments before we kind of close up, because I feel like there's definitely a lot there to take with you. I don't want to overload either, but there's some really good practices there of rest and getting clarity and meditating on that clarity and having some grace and self-love for yourself in that process and in that patience, to allow yourself to heal. um, so Amy had said earlier, yes, more compassion, less judgment. Grateful for you both and the shares transparency. We are all doing our best to keep on rising, sending so much gratitude and love out for us all. This is the beauty of community and holding space for one another. The inner work is only something we can choose to do for ourselves, but we don't have to do it alone. Absolutely. Amen. 100%. And like you said, if you're a part of the Cosmic Pulse community, which it's live streamed here, YouTube, and to our Facebook page. But if you're in the community, there are a ton of us in here that are engaged and want to be there for one another, and would be there with if you just had a question or somebody to reach out to have a conversation. So there's a lot of support here within this community, and even myself, I have a challenge reaching out and leveraging that resource that this is. I think that's the purpose of why it's here, is a resource for us all to come together in community and heal and have each other's backs and support one another through these times, because we are in quite a wild time in history, and we need all the support that we can get. And then, thank you for this reminder, Ian. Really working on sinking deep into turning my love toward myself. Me too. Amen on that. Sounds like that must be Crystal, wanting to get better as an act of self-love. 100%. Let's see. Here we go. We can become addicted to guilt, shame, suffering, etc. Somewhere in our subconscious mind, we feel we deserve this, or it is familiar to us. So we continue to attract it until we become aware of it and work to heal it and change our belief system. So as we work towards the things that we want, these things will continue to present themselves until we do the work to release these beliefs and make that conscious shift.
Absolutely.
You got it. You nailed it on the head. Also, I think the eclipse energy is felt for 6 months, 6 weeks or 6 months. Yeah.
Oh, and I also heard that this period of time, this last weekend that changed at the eclipse on the 28th, was actually like there was a 2-year period, a cycle. So like if you've noticed something in this last 2 years that has been a pattern in your life, that has come up recently, to be like, hey, you've been ignoring me.
I'm back.
That this has been the closing of that door and the step into a new consciousness, a new life. It feels a lot freer.
I think maybe this has been true for me. I'm recognizing it and deeply desiring to release these patterns in my life. Yeah, and something that I notice, and I've been reflected to me many times over this period of time, is we all are kind of going through it in different ways. Our outside world is a projection or a manifestation of what's going on in the inside world. So of course we're going to see other people in our reality come back. Okay, sometimes it keeps losing it. But I've noticed that in other relationships, same kind of instances. It's playing out in different people, so we can recognize that. We can say, okay, I'm not alone. This is a journey that we're all on, and I can be safe in knowing that as I do the work, because we are reflecting back through them what we are experiencing. So as I do the work and I heal the work, they are going to also be healing, and I will see that more in my reality.
Yeah, I find that too, that different traumas that we've had. Like, you find out that a lot of your friends have gone through very similar traumas, um, and for me at least, like, I can see so much compassion for what other people have gone through that are similar to my own, and so it also helps me have more compassion for what I've gone through, because like I'm seeing it outside myself. Like, why would I judge, um, my community for these, or why would I judge myself when I'm not even judging the community? Like, it's just this cycle of healing and growing, and it's been beautiful. So
Mhm. Well, I'm gonna open it for like a couple minutes to if there's any questions. So I think if we're gonna give it like 60 seconds, just starting now. If you have any questions about the eclipse, how to navigate it after the closing of the season. And I was thinking about maybe doing like just a brief little drop in, a meditation. Now that we've covered this, like how can we integrate what we're talking about? How can we, it's Monday, it's the start of the new week. There's nothing like from this moment forward we can bring with us which we really intend to bring into this reality. So I think that's a really good, a nice benefit of being able to do these meditations is kind of a reset for the week. I am also going to be changing the Pulse with Purpose to doing it every week instead of every other week. I kind of miss you guys. So you can expect that at every Monday. Let's see. I wish I had the names on these things, but I believe it's Crystal. I'm so getting to know you, beautiful soul. Sending you so much right back at you, sister. No, I'll take this one.
I don't know. They just say Facebook user, so
Yeah.
But we love you, whoever you are.
Yeah, definitely. All of us be easy on ourselves. Look behind maybe some of the masks that we're putting on to hide people from what's really going on. There's a lot of if we're willing to be authentic, and I think it really people so you giving people opportunity for you may not have the details throw up on them. Obviously, I think an important component is asking if there is space to have kind of more, and then that's something that I've been practicing is not just unleashing on somebody, but making sure that there's space that to be received. Just a quick meditation. If you'd like to just kind of guide it.
So I'm gonna All right.
And we're back. The internet connection. It looks like we're still going. Okay. Okay, here's a question. Aside from being easy on ourselves, what else? How do you recommend dealing with guilt and shame?
Well, at least for me, I think it's kind of sinking into that self-love, like coming into that deep compassion for yourself, like like, yeah, I mean, you can even use somebody else. Like, would you guilt or shame somebody else for whatever you feel guilt or shame about? And a lot of times we're a lot more forgiving to other people than we are of ourselves. Um, it's finding that compassion and realizing that the guilt doesn't serve you. If anything, guilt's um, letting you know that you're out of alignment with the truth of who you are. And so, like, I think that as we move closer and closer into what is the truth of who we are, this divine expression, this source energy, this love um, that's coming through, you realize that um, you know, whatever created, say you did something bad or you were told that you did something bad, and you have this guilt about it or the shame about it. um, the prayer that I like to use is the Ho'oponopono prayer, because you tell yourself that you love yourself. So I love you, and then I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And so what you're really doing is you're recognizing that you're sorry because you forgot the truth of who you were in any moment. So um, you know, say you cheated on somebody or something like that, and then you have this heavy guilt that you're a bad person about that. But you wouldn't have cheated if you were in the true love expression that you are. And to give yourself that grace and that compassion to be like, I didn't know who I was. And the more that I come into alignment with who I am, I I find that grace and compassion for that person, and I'm not that person anymore. Like, my past doesn't define me. I'm giving myself that love and that grace to change and to make the decisions based off of a more centered me. And I think that I think that covers it. I hope that would help you.
Mm-hmm. Ho'oponopono.
Yeah, Ho'oponopono. Yeah, and I see that this person put, "I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you," and you can do it that way. I've done it that way before. Um, I went to a festival, and the reason I started with "I love you" is I just liked the way that sounded. So whatever sounds the best to you, those four phrases, I just felt like coming from love first really resonated with me. So, like, saying that I love you and then going to the "I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you" felt more complete for me. But I used to do it the other way around. So either way, that most resonates with you, as long as it has those components in it, I think that they're all good.
This is actually a really good point. Um, I have always started with "I'm sorry," the guilt. And so I went to an ayahuasca ceremony, and the shaman Om talked about sorry was never part of Ho'oponopono. And I'm not like an expert, so don't criticize me for that. But the sorry piece is just reinforcing the guilt, and I understand. I think the way that you described it makes a lot of sense, of being like, I'm sorry for not knowing who I was. It's but there's still guilt associated with that, and so especially with the I'm sorry, please forgive me, those are two back to back, like, guilty. It's evoking, you're like, it's an affirmation. I'm sorry, I'm guilty, please forgive me because I did something wrong. um and I'm not saying that I'm wrong or to not say it that way. I have, you know um I'm not the shaman um yet. But it's something to consider. It's like, and I experience this too with other people. And I say it myself, and I'm trying to work on it. But it's always saying, "I'm sorry, sorry, I'm sorry. Oh, I got in your way. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry that I, was a minute late. I'm sorry that this." And so we're constantly carrying around that guilt with that phrase, and it's like, there's I don't know, it's kind of an infectious thing. We're just like, it's just automatic. I'm sorry. It's guilt. And so the shaman actually talks about, like, that's one of the least valuable emotions, if it is an emotion, I don't know, is guilt. It has no value. Um, the shame. So, like, how can we rephrase that? Maybe just something to think about. Um, you know, I'm sorry. Instead of I'm sorry is like, I acknowledge where I missed the mark, or misstepped or something like that. I can acknowledge that and then work towards creating a better reality moving forward.
Well, and really the prayer is actually inward, so it's towards yourself. So it's really like giving yourself an apology, giving, asking yourself, or asking yourself for forgiveness, forgiving yourself, because it's your perception, you're forgiving your perception of what reality is. And so, um, and I think in to me at least, I feel like the I'm sorry is really kind of like humbling the ego to where it's just like, because the ego is like the I know mind that I'm doing everything right, and yet makes you feel like wrong about everything. And so like really humbling that mind and stepping into divinity where it's just like letting go of that version of yourself. Like, I'm sorry, this isn't me. I That's, I mean, at least that's how I kind of feel about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, whatever resonates the most with you, like, you can set up a whole different prayer system. I mean, when I do regular prayers, I don't use the word sorry, because I'm activating more of a truth of my deservability and my worthiness, about me being enough. And so whatever, like you said, you could say, I love you. I appreciate you bringing this to my attention. Um, it, I I'm forgiving myself for making this misstep in my perception. I thank you.
I know who I
I know
am.
who I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And it's just something to feel out, like, if the I'm sorry part is getting you what you need to heal and forgive, then use it until it no longer serves. Um, and I'm no expert on not saying sorry. And so, but yeah, I think it's very similar to this. The AA alcoholic. I was in AA for a while, and that's kind of the reason I stopped going, was because of the I am. I'm just like really reinforcing that reality that is the truth, which is not the truth. I am perfect, whole, and complete. I just had guilt and shame around certain things, and so I was leveraging that to make me feel better. um, Starting with love really seems to make it even more powerful, coming from that tender, nurturing, growth-minded place. um, yes, starting with love, right, instead of starting with the guilt, because then the love has less power. If you start with the love, then the guilt might have less power, because love is the most powerful force in the universe. As someone who grew up with an extremely abusive narcissistic parent and never reaching any recognition of harm caused or any intention to growth and be healthier, this invitation to say sorry to myself in this tender way actually feels like one of the most loving gifts I can give myself. 100%. Yeah, there's no right or really wrong way of doing it.
Yeah. And that's how I feel about it because like when I was meditating last night, and I was really feeling into, it was like I was seeing images of like uh, a, a person that I wasn't really, but like obviously a vision of myself that I saw myself as, or that was playing around in the background, and like shame and embarrassment or whatever towards this character, and coming from the places like I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Like, it really helped release it because I started crying, because it was like I was holding on to like a scared child or a version of myself that was just like afraid afraid to come out of hiding because it wasn't welcome or it wasn't loved, and really allowing that part of myself to be seen and be loved for who it is. Um, and so for me it was a beautiful experience because like giving that apology to myself really helped me transform some feelings. So
There was and I don't know how long we'll keep this going, but it's flowing, so whatever. There's a guy, Michael Murdad, that
I love that
Ian
conversation.
got me connected with on YouTube. But he talks about like not knowing, right? When something's coming up, when a challenge arises in our life, it's okay to not know. The ego wants to know, and so like it's like, in law of attraction or trying to manifest something, it's like I know this is going to happen, or whatever, but it's kind of releasing and not being willing to not know that allows the knowing to come through. But because if we feel like we know, or are in trying to force the knowing from that egoic place, then we're not allowing any other information to come through that would give us the clarity or whatever it is that we seek. And so I think that's relative to the sorry. There might be an ego part that's like, I'm not sorry, or I don't want to be sorry because then I'm like, being guilty. So the mind plays
Yeah,
different tricks. The ego wants to have
because
that control.
yeah, because guilt is the linchpin of the ego. So if you're feeling guilt, it's wanting you to be attached to the world of form, the world of illusion, this idea about yourself. And so, like, to say that you're sorry and you feel guilty about it is really the ego trying to get you to be attached to um, whatever it is. Like saying sorry to somebody and you feel all this guilt or whatever. Um, it's keeping that cycle alive. That's keeping you bound to the world of form and illusion and things like that, and it's not serving you, because the ego, it's a wonderful tool. We can all interact with each other. If we have healthy egos, but the ego is not an entity of itself. It doesn't love you. It's not even a being. So it's just a program, and it's a program that keeps you thinking that that's who you are. And so the more you move back into your divinity, to that loving space, to loving yourself, even though like in a sense you are loving ego forms of yourself, but you're also saying that it's all okay because it was created by you. It's all part of the divine essence of everything, that we're all one, it's all connected. There is no separation. And so like when we're forgiving ourselves, we're really just bringing that separated part of ourselves back into us, so that then we have that feeling of being whole and complete, that maybe you've been missing, or feeling that you've been feeling separated from other people, because we're projecting and separating painful parts of ourselves. And so, coming back into that loving space and loving every part of yourself is very key.
Mm-hmm. It takes time, and patience, and forgiveness,
Grace.
and grace. Yeah, it can be a super easy process. Like, for example, in the ayahuasca ceremonies, they talk about you really have a choice, for the most part, that it's going to be an easy process or a difficult one. You're going to throw up a lot, and it's going to be a lot of pain, or mental pain, or there's also the choice of setting the intention that it can flow with ease and grace. You can get the same information with but you get to choose experience that comes through. So I think it can happen the same way. I think we need to go through challenge and strife and pain and suffering in order to get the answers that we want. And I'm speaking for myself, so maybe you can relate. We don't necessarily have to do that. We if we can give ourselves some grace, if we can forgive ourselves, if we can give ourselves time for these things to unfold in the perfect, divine timing, I think it will even happen faster than if we were to try to, go through the challenge and the suffering and the pain. And if we can let go and just flow with the healing, it will happen, and it will be a lot better journey.
Should we get into the meditation?
Yeah. All right, we're gonna meditate. So we'll do just a quick one to kind of drop in. Now, just kind of considering everything that we talked about today, and if you joined us later, we've just been talking about having grace with the process of some of the things that have come to a close in our life, having grace with self-love and some of the challenges that we're going through, and giving ourselves some time and space to let that healing occur without there being expectations, to gain clarity on where that healing needs to happen, and to really just go deep and be intentional with that process. And that you have community, you have people around you that are here to support you in that healing, in your growth. It might take you out of your comfort zone to reach out to somebody. But that in itself is a step in the direction of the healing. It's a confirmation to the universe. You're going to get a reflection back from that action that you took. So bring all those things into mind as we meditate, and really anchor in the future of healing, of becoming our best selves, and allowing that to flow with ease and grace.
Just like this meditation.
Just like this meditation.
So I invite you all to close your eyes, unless you're driving. And just take a deep breath. And as you exhale, just allow yourself to settle in. Feel fully supported in the space that you are in, whether you're on the ground, sitting in a chair, laying on a bed, standing. Just find that rest and that relaxation in this space. Letting go of the to-do lists. And just notice whatever comes up. Are you holding anything in your body? Move into it. Give it space. Give it love. If you find it helpful, think of something or someone that really represents love and joy in your life. It could be a friend. It could be a pet. It could be eating ice cream on a bench out in a park during the summer. Bring that loving feeling inwards. Let it sink into the deepest parts of you. Wherever there's anything tight, just let it ease right in there. Let yourself know that it's okay. Feeling more and more into yourself. relaxing, deepening, taking deep breaths. You may even ask yourself, where have I not been loving myself fully? In what aspect of my life do I feel conflict? Feeling that warm rising up of love. Tell yourself I love you. Have gratitude for your body. Gratitude for the space that you're giving yourself. Really spread out your energy and feel expansive. It's your space. It's your love. Maybe put a smile on your face. Feel a little giggle inside. It's okay to feel it. It's okay to be playful. It's okay to accept yourself exactly as you are. Where you are is exactly perfect. Because where you are is where the love is needed. Taking a deep inhale. Allow your love to feel total in this moment. Go ahead with one last deep inhale. Set the intention to bring this love and joy with you wherever you are today, knowing that you can always tap into it. It is the place where you reside, and it extends forth into your experience. And when you are ready, you can go ahead and open your eyes. Much love. We thank you all for being here. You guys are beautiful. We love you.
Thank you for being here, Ian.
Thank you for
That's
being
a
here.
beautiful meditation.
Well, thank you.
Thank you guys all for tuning into this. This was a lot longer than I had anticipated, but that's freaking awesome. All right, so you can, let's see, let me get some banners up here, do some cool stuff on this. You can join the Cosmic Pulse newsletter, get updated about the upcoming drum circles, which will be inside. We're going to be sending out the location in the newsletter, but we do have it confirmed. I'm going to schedule it. I'm scheduling it. But there's just some details. So we have this coming drum circle on November 5th at 2 p.m. We will be indoors, but I need you to get on the newsletter at thecosmicpulse.com. We'll also, talk about it in the Facebook group once that becomes available. But we do have it confirmed. I just have to be careful with the an event on Facebook or something like that. So get on the newsletter at thecosmicpulse.com. Again, every Monday at 12 p.m. we do the Pulse of Purpose live stream. So we're tapping in, talking about different concepts and things that are going on that we can all kind of get support on. As we're sharing, we're actually getting a lot of the healing at the same time. So it's beneficial for both of us. We also have the men's group, which has been canceled for this Tuesday. I needed some time to get the clarity that I'm looking for. I need to really dive deep within myself. I need, extended myself pretty far, and really just need to, get clear on my life. So this Tuesday is going to be rescheduled. It's likely we will have it the following Tuesday. So on the newsletter, you would get that information. We also have the Cosmic Pulse Brotherhood. If you're not in the Brotherhood yet, go ahead and join. It is a private membership. So, men only, obviously. And I think that's it. Is there anything?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you guys again for tuning in. We will see you this coming Sunday. We have an event that we're actually in the works of planning, so we'll keep you informed on that in the Cosmic Pulse newsletter. So thank you guys. Much love.
Much love.